Hey guys, I'm back again, and today I have a message for you guys that has been inspired by an amazing coaching session that I just had. And I wanted to share kind of a message that I feel I'm personally working on. And I'm using this time, with this kind of time locked up inside, I'm using this time to really work on what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. And I want you guys to get in on the action with me. So let me talk about it. So today's topic is all about the fact that your past mistakes are your future wisdom. So what is it that I actually mean by what I'm sharing with you guys today? And what that ultimately is I want this time of reflection. So this time that we've got to spend back at home, it doesn't have to be like feeling like we're locked in a prison. What it can be is an amazing time that you wouldn't have otherwise given to yourself had you not been put in this position. And I'm just speaking from Australia's perspective. We're all pretty much, at home, told to stay at home, trying to, take down the curve a little bit by not spreading this virus around. So what we could be doing is using this time to self-reflect. Now, a really great strategy that I like to use and I work with my clients on is the timeline. And what the timeline is creating like a timeline of your life. So if you were to get a piece of paper, hang on. So you get a piece of paper, and on one side of the paper, what you want to do is write, on this side, it might be just 0, right? That's the point of your birth. And then on the other side, you draw a line and you write on this other side the age that you are currently. And what you do is you draw a line between your birth and how old you are currently. And what you do is you want to put these specific times on that timeline of the major events in your life. Maybe that is, something major that happened to you in terms of, okay, I entered school at this time, this happened, maybe something traumatic happened in your life, maybe you entered your first relationship, note down those relationships, those friendships, whatever's important to you that you can jump to and you can see, okay, this would be a major part of my life. I want you to put it on the timeline. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at, what were, say, the things that you deem to be mistakes in your life? What were the things on that timeline that you're like, like I shouldn't have been in that relationship, or I shouldn't have done this. Whatever your shouldn'ts have been, that you would say are in your lifetime, I want you to put them on the timeline. And what I want you to do is really look at those and look at, instead of focusing on the mistake, I want you to identify the potential mistake. And then what I want you to do is to glean the wisdom from it. So what is it that you learnt from that experience? What is it that you can take from acknowledging and seeing the patterns throughout your existence and acknowledging what those are, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and ultimately identifying for every so-called mistake that you might feel like you might have made, to identify what's the wisdom here. What was the lesson? What has it taught me? And what you'll do is, if you actually take this on board and you create your own timeline and you actually look at your life and you look at the major events, you will start to notice the patterns. And when you notice the patterns, what happens is you don't have to repeat the patterns. You can identify what a better direction might be, and how you'd want to operate, maybe in the same dynamic. And one of the key things that I've been doing, as you guys know, I recently ended a relationship. And, from that relationship, I have gotten so much insight into my own patterns. Being able to get outside and take a meta perspective on that relationship, I'm like, whoa, right? Like I'm, okay, this pattern, I can see it from this outside perspective now. And what is that saying about my own patterns? What have I been doing in relationship? And what owning it all, taking 100% responsibility, and then identifying what's the wisdom here. What am I going to take? What's the lesson from I wouldn't say mistake, but like the pattern of behavior that hasn't ended up in the way that I would most want it to. And by doing that, you end up creating, taking your past so-called mistakes or regrets or whatever they are and however you're deeming them, and converting them into future wisdom. So that at that point, right, you might have been going throughout your life feeling like you've made these mistakes throughout the timeline of your life, and the moment that you articulate them and you identify them and you acknowledge them and then you take the wisdom from them, they're no longer mistakes. You see that everything has been playing out exactly how it's meant to so that you can get the lesson. And instead of those mistakes being regrets, they end up losing that label completely and you end up being actually very grateful for everything that you've experienced in your life. And I know from the outside in and just from this short conversation, that can seem kind of crazy because a lot of us have experienced trauma. A lot of us have experienced very, terrible things in our lives that we wouldn't wish upon anyone. And what happens is that's because we haven't actually identified the lessons, the wisdom, and at the very least, if you have been victimized in some way, how has that situation made you the person that you are today? There's so many different angles to take on, those different pivotal moments throughout our timeline, throughout our history, and we can convert them from regret-filled to being regret-free, and you can make your future all the better for it. So I hope that me sharing this short little exercise for you guys, which we've got plenty of time up our sleeves, so you might as well use this time to reflect back on your life and actually take the lessons and the wisdom so that you don't have to keep playing the same old patterns, and you can also get beyond any traumatic experiences that you may just have been sweeping under the rug, but actually would require some of your attention and your focus to be able to be free of them the moment, we're able to get back into the life and get back into the same old things that we would want to be doing with our lives rather than be in a bit of lockdown. All right, so hope that keeps you busy and occupied in a super healthy and positive way that you wouldn't have otherwise given to yourself had you not been put into this situation where you do need to, stay at home and do the right thing right now. So definitely want to check in with you guys. Have you got any questions or comments or feedback or words of wisdom, whatever you want to share, or let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I always love getting to connect with you. I've been having, as you guys know, I've moved all the way back to Melbourne. I did 2,000 kilometers over 2 days of driving over yesterday and the day before. And today I was back home in my own bed and, been unpacking and reorganizing and been a massive day. So I hope that you guys are doing something fun at least. But let me check in. I've got Don in the house and Justin, much love to you. And Bina, wish you happy future. Oh, that's very kind of you, and wishing you the same, Bina. Good to see you as always. And Josh is here, and Peter, and Jerry. Hi, Vanessa, salute from work. Thanks for your live. Hope you're doing well, Jerry. Always great to see you and grateful that you find value in these messages. And Victoria's here, and Darren and Elf and Lucy. Hello, Victoria. And Jake's here as well, and Trebler, hello to you, and Laurie from Alberta, Canada. I'm moving this week too, onward and upward with evolving. I love that, Laurie. Absolutely, and I hope your move goes amazingly well. I love Canada, such a beautiful part of the world. And I'm really big on shifting and changing, because at the end of the day, most of us are so caught up with trying to keep everything certain and controlled in our external environment, and we get so shaken up when something changes, just like what's happening across the globe right now. So the best thing that we can do is to develop an experience from a mindset of having that mindset of, I thrive in the uncertainty. That's why I absolutely love, change. I love, this time last week, I had zero plans of being back in Melbourne. I was totally set on living my life in Noosa and loving every minute of it. And, things change, and then you have to be flexible with your, with what you previously decided upon, and you have to be smart and intelligent about it. And you have to have a mindset that is, like I said, I thrive in uncertainty, because too many of us don't have that, and that's what's keeping us stuck, and that's what's creating a lot of pain, unnecessary pain in our lives, because you're never going to control your external environment. You can influence it, but the only control you're ever going to have is in your internal world, how you respond to things, how you're choosing to show up, what you're choosing to do. All right, all those sorts of things are your only sense of control and certainty. So don't get caught up in trying to control and gain certainty from your external world. And what's happening in the world right now is a really great example as to how much we can control versus influence what's happening. So I love that. And Judy's here, and Trebla, nice to see an angel here in Italy. Oh, that's very, very kind of you, and beautiful Italy. I hope you are doing well. I know Italy has been so hard hit through this pandemic. So hopefully you and your family are staying safe, my friend, and good to see you. And Josie's here as well, and Filippo. Awesome. So all of you guys who are just catching me live now, I hope you catch the recording, get some value from today's message. As always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has definitely served you, and you're going to take on board this exercise. And I really invite you guys to do it with your family members, do it with who you live with. Grab that piece of paper, write your timeline from 0 to the age that you are now. What are the pivotal times in your life, the pivotal experiences that you've had, and look at where you feel like you might have made a mistake, and find what the wisdom is that you've learned, how it's made you a better person, how it's made you more aware. Identify your patterns over the years so that you no longer have to play them, and you get to design your life rather than default into unhealthy directions. All right, so hope that serves you and keeps you occupied in a super healthy way through this challenging time. I'm signing off. I'm sending you guys all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow.